Larry Pollock and Leo Mayrhofer here from the Underground Performance Gym podcast. Today we're going to go over a topic that actually is sort of personal to me, and it is DHB. Also, we're going to touch on Trestolone and Superdrol. And the reason I say it's kind of personal to me is because about 3 years ago, actually, there was a board. I'm just going to straight out say it. Roger Chavez has a board, and these guys were all promoting Superdrol. No, I'm sorry, DHB, Dehydroboldenone. And they were saying that it is super anabolic and it increases insulin sensitivity and all this other stuff. And what really got my interest in it was they said it increased the insulin sensitivity. And I had become a little insulin resistant from growth hormone. So I was thinking maybe that would help. So being experimental like I am, I decided to try it. And I used it. I believe I was taking, I had it 100 milligrams per mil. And actually, the way my guys compounded it, it came out really, there was no pip. It was clear, actually perfect. And everybody said it had a lot of pip, but there's no pip in mine. Anyways, I started using it, and almost immediately my strength started going up fast. And within a month, I would say my strength increased so much that whatever I was doing for 5 reps, I could do the same weight for 10 reps on whatever particular exercise. For example, like a chest press, I was using like 300 pounds for 5 reps. Now I could do 10. That's how quickly my strength increased. So at the same time,
you take?
I was taking, I think I took 150 milligrams a week. So like 75 milligrams.
But before you had just been on TRT, or what are you comparing it to?
Oh, before I was on my regular just NPP and TESS. And so I
But
just
it was
added,
like kind of like switch milligrams to milligram. It's the same. Like you switch from 150 MPP to 150 DHB.
I didn't take the NPP. No, yeah, that's correct. I took the NPP out.
Okay, so it kind of like a comparison is now you can actually compare what MPP did for you and what DHB did for you.
Right.
Okay, that's good to know. Yeah.
So, anyways, I was taking it twice a week, 75 milligrams at a time. Or maybe I broke it up into 3 times. I don't remember, but I know it was 150. Because that was like the recommended dosage people were talking about. So, like I said, my strength was going through the roof. Sex drive was like way up. I can definitely say it increased, not sex drive, but performance.
Aggression?
No. The weird thing was people compared it to Trenbolone, and Trenbolone gives me like a nasty temper. This didn't give me a nasty temper, but it did have mental side effects. And the mental side effects were it gave me this feeling of I just don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just had no feeling about nothing. I just
that's a side effect that some people have on Trenbolone.
Trenbolone gives me like an angry temper. This didn't give me an angry temper. It gave me I don't give a shit. Like almost numb. So all of those I could consider like that wasn't a problem. The problem happened 6 weeks in. 6 weeks into it, I started getting the worst aches and pains. Like first it was my lower back, then it was my knees, then I hurt my left shoulder, and then my whole body started hurting so bad. And right at the 6-week mark, and it got so bad, like within a week, I could barely train. everything, my whole body just hurt. And I remember I went back on the message board and I said, everybody was talking about using this stuff and how great it was. And I said, hey, this is happening. And everything in my body hurts. And like 20 people responded, oh, yeah, it happened to all of us. Well, no one talked about that, before I brought it up, until I brought it up. Oh,
Larry, I took way more than you. It never happened to me.
How long did you take it for?
Longer than you.
Well,
like 3
I don't
months.
know. A lot of people said it happened to them.
Yeah,
and
I'm just saying, yeah. But I think the side
anyways,
effects are really bad on your bloods and your organs, kidney potentially. It seems also to elevate everyone's liver markers. So yeah.
well, it's specifically bad on liver and kidney. I know that. But what people weren't talking about is the inflammatory response, C-reactive protein. And my inflammatory response, well, I already have Crohn's, so like I don't do well with inflammatory.
Yeah.
Anything that makes me inflamed causes problems. Well, I injured my left shoulder. Actually, felt like I tore something in my shoulder, and I'm still dealing with that. This has been like 3 years ago, but my inflammation was so bad that it took me like a year after I stopped that to get rid of it. And the only thing that got rid of it, I actually almost stopped training for a while or I was training just really light because I just couldn't lift anything. Everything just hurt. I remember I went to the Olympia that year and just standing in line was brutal. My back was so tight and everything. It was just brutal. And I know it was from the DHB because there was nothing different that I did. And exactly 6 weeks, that's when that kicked in. Anyways, what I finally did was I ended up going back on Nandrolone, and that's what finally got rid of the inflammation, was going back on Nandrolone on a significant dose for a little while. But the reason I bring this up is because I just heard somebody promoting it, saying they did an experiment. They ran it for 30 days, and they had all their blood work tests done and everything. And you got a natural supplement stack with test SIPO?
I know who you're talking about. You're talking about Todd, and he wasn't promoting it.
Well, he said he did it. He did it for 30 days, and he listed his reaction.
Do you know how much he took? He took almost nothing. He took like 30 milligrams or something, 10 milligrams a day, and he said that it's very bad on your liver, and you would have to take Tutka with it, and it even elevated his blood work on that low of a dosage, and it's not really sure if it works as like AI at all because he lowered his estrogen a bit, but he also lost a bunch of fat at the same time. So I wouldn't say he promoted it. Like when I watched this video, I was like, that doesn't sound good at all. But what's interesting is that Patrick Tour is a huge fan. I've seen many protocols of his, and now there's one public protocol. I can put it in, and it's a wild protocol actually for the size of the guy. It's a wild protocol, and he's taking 300 a week. Let me show you. I bet like Patrick Tour wasn't happy about him actually
putting this out there.
Yeah, but so he has a big podcast, Nile Niga, pretty big podcast. So this
I
is
know
his guy.
him.
And this is his protocol. It's wild. Like 750 sustenance a week, 300 DHP a week, 150 NPP a week, Proviron 25 a day. Oh, it's not too much. But then 5-HGH, IGF-LR3, finasteride, minoxidil. Okay,
You're
there's
kind of breaking up.
another day. I don't know why he has a second protocol. I don't see where the difference is on this one, but yeah, that's what he's doing. I mean, it's not wild, but that's what he's doing. I thought first this was all one. Yeah, and he's taking DHB, and I've seen the DHB a lot at work protocols. So we will see if.
And we just lost Leo. So hopefully he'll log back in. Anyways, he said that the guy wasn't promoting DHB. Oh, here he is. He's back.
I don't know why I got kicked out. The Wi-Fi
It
seems okay.
When you were doing showing the view, you were kind of jumbled.
Okay.
But anyways, yeah, you were saying Todd wasn't promoting DHB, but what he did say is he ran it for 30 days, and he said it was a possible alternative to Primobolan. And first of all, 30 days.
Masteron, I thought. Okay. Yeah.
Either one. But 30 days is not long enough to know what it's going to do. Because like I said, I everything looked great for me until 6 weeks in. It's 6 weeks in is when all hell break loose. And from the other people that I had spoken to, the same thing happened to them around 6 weeks in.
I think it's also hard to say it's a possible alternative when you run it as a dosage at a dosage that is so ridiculously low. No one will run it at that dosage. So it's like if I would run Tren at 10 milligrams a day, I'm like, no issues, like you can totally run that. And then people go on through like a dose that they would actually use, like 300, and they're all having all kinds of side effects. So
Right.
I think testing something at the 10th of a dosage that other people would take is kind of hard to really gauge what's like if it's a good alternative.
Your blood. It's like if you took 100 milligrams of test a week and then you did blood work, like you're not going to see much.
Yeah.
From that.
And even with this low dosage, he had very elevated liver enzymes. So that does not sound good to me. And I don't think he took any orals or something. So
extremely liver toxic and extremely kidney toxic as well.
Yeah, so I would stay away from that. I would rather it take double the Primo or something.
It says DHB isn't run as high though as 300 to 400 is normal. I don't know what you mean by that. I don't know what normal is.
300 to 400 is not high.
Of DHB?
What 300 to 400 people run that on DHB?
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. For me, 150, I was starting conservative, and that did me in.
Yeah, that's crazy. See, yeah. So, and 300 is a normal dose, let's say. But the most of the people that he's training, and me too. Like, I ran it when I was like 30 years old, and also like usually you see more side effects the older you get, so the more sensitive you get to side effects, which is actually to give recommendations is actually good thing. So you really see what can happen way more, like the side effects when people are different from how they're affected by a drug. You're more.
Oh yeah, when I was young, I could take Anadrol all day long, and I could eat like no other. Now, if I take Anadrol, I get nauseous.
Exactly. So that's actually a good place to give advice from.
Well, all I can say is I tried it that one time, and then after I fixed everything, I decided, the Nandrolone helped me fix it. So then I had this idea. Well, what if I run Nandrolone and DHB together? Maybe the Nandrolone will offset the side effects of the DHB. And I literally tried it at like 30 milligrams for 1 week. And in 1 week, I started getting achy again.
Whoa.
Yeah, 1 week. And that took about 4 weeks after I stopped to go away.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyways, I can get DHB. I can get the best with no pip and everything else. And I have 15 bottles brand new, and I'm never going to touch it. That shit, it's just no good. It's a bad drug. If anybody's thinking about using it, just don't.
Yeah,
It's
I
just
would
not
rather use
worth
something
it.
else and more. If you think it's more powerful, use more of something that's less harmful, and you get the same out of it.
Now, the other thing I'll touch on is MENT, Trestolone. I
Yeah.
had a powerlifter, famous powerlifter, told me this stuff makes you so strong and so big. All I can tell you is I felt like I was on a high, like I was on a moderate, even though I went up to as high as 350 milligrams before I really felt anything from it. But all I really got from it was a shit ton of water retention. Like my
Yeah.
strength didn't really go up that much. I get stronger on just nandrolone without the water retention, but my strength went through the freaking roof. I'm sorry, my water retention went through the roof. My strength didn't go up at all. I just held a shit ton of water, and I felt the only other thing that ever makes me hold water was Dianabol, and I don't like holding that at all. I don't like that feeling. I know some people they like to be bloated and whatever. It doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah. I think it's a good muscle builder. Um, so it has its use case, and it's so weird to me that when I used it first, just with test, I got a shit ton of water. And when I stacked it with test and primo, I was like, I felt like I could take whatever amount and I would get no estrogenic side effects. And I'm super prone to it. So when I used it just with test, I was like, I needed like so much AI. And I went way higher though, but it's kind of weird like how my body changed in its response. Because like first I'm like, okay, this maybe I'm taking fake. And then I got another one from someone I know. He gets the best shit ever. And I'm like, well, same outcome. And then I had another one from a sponsor. And so I tried, and they all were the same. They all did the same. So I'm like, okay, they're either all fake or none is fake. And my reaction changed. So I'm really sure my reaction to it changed. But this is so weird because I used to have to be like so careful if I used it. Now I'm not using any nandrolones because I want to get my fertility up, and the nandrolones are the most counteracting in
Mm-hmm.
terms of fertility. They're the most suppressive. So this is going to be a year without nandrolone.
Well, I got it from Tony Huge from his whatever his company was called.
Yeah,
And he was selling it straight online, and I'm sure it was like legit.
yeah, me too, me too.
But like I said, I got just bloated, and I when I get bloated like that, I feel like sluggish in the gym. I don't feel stronger. It just feels uncomfortable.
I just hate to get bloated because my face looks horrible. I
I don't
already
even
like,
care about the look as much as just it's just some. I feel like after a show when you gain a ton of water and you just have this bloated, uncomfortable feeling,
mm,
and it didn't make me any stronger. Same thing after a show. One time after a show, like I tried to, you have the what do you call it when you after the show's over, the rebound. So I intentionally ate as much as I could and took insulin and GH to see how much weight I could gain. And I pushed my weight from like 220 all the way up to 270 in probably like 3 weeks doing that. And my strength did not go up one bit at all. I just was like a big bloated mess. It felt like
yeah.
total shit.
Yeah, but it's definitely very individual, the response. But I would like very carefully, I would, if I'd never had taken it, and that's how I approached it too, because I knew about it. I was like, I try 5 milligrams a day first to see how I react. So I would never start too high with that. Like start very low and see how you individually react to it, especially if you're estrogen prone and you don't run primobolan on the side or something. Be careful. You could technically use it also as a base. You could instead of testosterone, second with something. Just run ment and drostanolone or so.
So the next one was Superdrol. Now I can tell you I have never taken Superdrol because I just heard it was super liver toxic and I didn't really have access to it and I didn't really want to go out of my way to get it. If I want something liver toxic, I can just take Anadrol, and I know that works. So I can't really speak on Superdrol from personal experience. I just heard it was very liver toxic, and so I never really messed with it. But
I just take it. I just take it 3 to 4 days before show because that's the one that makes me a little fuller, but unlike Anadrol or something else, would make me like hold water at the same time in the wrong places. So that works for me. I don't use it at any other point in time. The only thing that you could do is if you have a strength plateau and you use it once a week before you train that certain muscle or so, but because you have to be very careful. And then I would run Tutka all the time. You know what? I would run Tutka all the time anyways.
I run Tuka year round
Yeah,
anyways.
Tutka is it's good anyways. But you know, if you're like cheap or you think you don't need it or your blood works great, like if you're on that, you need to run Tutka all the time, and you should never run it like if you run it straight, I wouldn't like 2 weeks max. So that's why it's like kind of like you could use it like as a joker once in a while or so. But other than that, it's like totally gonna F you up, especially like when it was over the counter legal for a while. So many people got badly hurt because they thought, oh, it's like some pill over the counter, cool, and they all get effed up.
So I was about to go to there when these compounds came out, these designer steroids. The reason they came out was when they were making the pro hormones, and pro hormones are just dirty steroids. And they just came up. They basically found some steroids that were just not listed as anabolic steroids yet on the list, so that they could sell them as supplements until they finally, DEA, FDA caught up to it and decided to list them. But these compounds have been around. Like I think what do you call DHB was made like in the 1960s, from what I was researching. It's an old drug. It just wasn't used because for whatever reason they decided it wasn't a good drug, and so it got put to the side. But it was actually made back in the 60s.
Equipoise is also called boldenone, right? And equipoise converts to DHB actually,
but only at 1%.
No, I think 5 to 15%.
No, 1%. I researched it. 1%. Sure? Yep.
Oh, I always thought
so it's totally different. It converts it 1% to dehydroboldenone. It's very low. So when you take EQ, you're getting hardly any DHB out of that. It's very, very minimal.
Interesting. That makes sense though.
So yeah, so it's a completely different drug. And that could vary depending on whether you're a high DHT converter or not, but it's still way low. It's almost nothing. So it's completely different than that. Someone's asking about methyl trenbolone. I've never taken methyl trenbolone, but I know when I trained with Scott Mendelson, he used to have the chick drops, and before a big lift, he would put it under his tongue, and it was in micrograms, and it made him literally psychotic. Like he was like going to a fucking rage, just putting that under his tongue before he lifted. And he used to do that
Yeah.
before like a max bench press. I never messed with it though. That stuff is super toxic. Like I think it's like one of the most toxic things that you can ever take.
I think it's comparable to Superdrol in the way you could use it or not. You know, it's
No, this is micrograms, not milligrams. It's just micrograms. That's how strong
that's
it is.
that's the check drops, yeah. But the
Yes.
Methyl is in milligrams.
I thought Methyldrum is chick drops. It's in
Oh no,
micrograms.
isn't check drops like Metrybolone or something? Let me check.
Yeah, yes, it's Metrenbolone.
Yeah,
Maybe
but
it's
I
not
think
methyl.
Metrybolone is it's not Methyltren. I'm pretty sure Methyltren
Maybe
is like
yeah,
one
but I know it's
milligram or something.
micrograms. It's Trembolone in
Yeah,
micrograms.
yeah,
Yeah,
Mebolarone
Metrenbolone.
and Methyl Trestolone is Methyltren. Um, Methyl Trenbolone, sorry. Yeah, yeah. Methyltren comes. I think I'll just ask Grok. Methyltren
Oh, that's
comes
right. It's
in.
methylated Trembolone. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But the Metrenbolone is the chick drops. That's the stuff that's
Yeah,
in. That stuff is super toxic.
yeah. That's the craziest. Yeah, some tablets are like 500 micrograms, but it's up to 2 milligrams. I've seen 1 milligram tabs for the Methyltren. I think the check drops were always 250 micrograms or something like that. I think 250 micrograms. Yeah. Oh yeah, this guy has oral trend and it's 1 milligram. Yeah, and he's wrong. Well,
That it's
uh,
that it's 1 milligram.
no, he's wrong by saying um, mebolarone. No, he doesn't say mebolarone. He says metribolone. Metribolone? I only know mebolarone and methyltren. What is metribolone? Maybe that's another name. Oh, metribolone is another word for methyltren. Okay.
Mm.
Yeah. But we're talking, sorry, like Larry probably mixes up a little bit because the names are so similar. Mebolarone and metribolone. It's like, come on.
Right.
Yeah. But I know, I think everyone got what we meant. Like check drop versus methyltren. That's the best names because they're very uh, uh, easy to differentiate.
But anyways, all
Everything
of these
always
things
has
came out when they were
triglycerides.
doing the pro hormones during that period of time when
Yeah.
Blackstone and all these guys were doing pro hormones, and I actually tried some of them at the time, and I just remember having like a shitty feeling, like a toxic feeling every time I took those, no matter what it was.
Yeah.
And I did get stronger on one of them, but I don't remember which one it was. But I only took it for a short time because I just felt toxic. And so there's a reason why these things they're not new drugs that someone new scientist developed in a lab. They're old drugs that were discarded because they had bad side effects. And then these idiots put them on the market as pro hormones until they got banned, and then they became popular again. But
Actually, yeah,
the
they're not
basic
pro
hormones that
hormones.
everybody's been taking forever, like your regular nandrolone, primobolan, all the things that made it to market and were tested, there's a reason why they've been around and people used them. They're way less toxic and way safer and probably as effective or more effective than all these weird things.
Yeah, I mean, a non-functioning body won't grow too. So it's also that, like you said, like these were actual steroids. They were marketed as pro hormones. If you buy a pro hormone now, it's really a pro hormone. So it has to convert into the hormone, which it does at a poor rate, usually orally. So that's crap. So you're basically paying for underdosed oral nandrolone a shit ton of money just because you get it over the counter. It has more side effects. It doesn't work as well, and you would have to take 3 bottles instead of just taking 3 injections. It's which would cost you like I don't know, $20. You're paying for 3 bottles at like $180. It's just stupid. Like if you take pro hormones, just dump them and take straight the hormone that it's going to convert into. Yeah, it's like it's like you buy a cow for more than you could get the whole meat already chopped up and ready to eat. Makes no sense.
Well, anyways, I think some people like to put this out because they're looking for new material, something to talk
That's true.
about.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's just, this stuff is just bad. It's all the way bad. There's nothing good about it. And it's totally unnecessary. Your regular tried and true tested anabolics that everybody knows will work. And even Trenbolone, I'm not a fan of Trenbolone because of the temper and all that. But even that is not as bad as some of these other ones, in my opinion. You know, like I got a bad temper on Trenbolone, but my joints didn't fall apart. I didn't feel like I was tearing my body apart.
And it works at so low dosages already, which people don't want to recognize. Like you don't need much of it for actually a really good benefit.
Yeah, I mean, right now I have a guy getting ready for USA's. He's 4 weeks out. We just put it in at 30 milligrams 3 times a week. That's it.
Yeah, that's already pretty good. It's
Yeah,
more,
and
like
it's
going to keep your muscle on, make you look a little fuller. There you go.
Yeah. So we're going to go on to the Nexzilla. He just won his first pro show. And I'll say it by default because no one else good was in there. Andy Presti was second to him.
I think my friend Adolf should have easily beat Presti, like by a landslide. He got third. I think he was way better than Presti. Presti looked so old and worn out. It was, I mean, and dude, in the comments from Nick Strength and Power, almost every other comment was like, Presti should have been third, Adolf should have been second. Like, there was like such a clear second place for Adolf for me. Like, I don't even realize it. So this is Adolf. Like, he has really good quality muscle. The guy is really thick.
Oh yeah, I saw him.
He's so much better than Presti. I'm like, what the heck? Do we have more stage shots here? I'm not sure that's a little swag, but he looked amazing. Like the side triceps, post him, really good. And it's such a huge hamstring too. I want to see side chest. Side chest.
I think you have a delay going on with your thing because they're not changing the picture.
Yeah, it's black. Yeah, I don't think it loaded fast enough. But yeah, he was really good. He was really good. So yeah, you said I think Nexzilla didn't look bad, man.
From some reason, when you share the screen, you're losing reception.
Yeah, I better stop doing that. Yeah. But I think Nexzilla wasn't that bad. He just his legs are like they seem to be like they always look pumped up. Maybe they're just so heavy and so muscular that they like he can't keep the separation in his legs because as soon as he moves, he gets a pump. I don't know, but that's what it looks like. But it's probably just too much fat because if you look at the backside, there's still some fat on there. But his upper body.
Well, if you look when he does his side shot, so he has striations in the quads.
Yeah, side shots were great. Yeah, I like his muscle. It looks so fresh and so like quality and thick and young, and that's really good. I just I just think he needs more, just a little more. Dude, I would put him on a bike and let him ride a marathon. Like if he loses a little bit of muscle, who cares? Like I would just get him peeled. Like, dude, you just like fast for 3 days and go.
I don't know. I don't think it's fat on his legs. It just he doesn't have separation because there's just so much blood volume in there.
Yeah, it could be, but you know why I think it's still a little fat is because also his glutes are a little chubby. So I think his glutes wouldn't. I don't think his glutes would be pumped up to that degree that they couldn't show any separation. I think there's a little more to go, but he was definitely better than last year, and I think he's also going to win next weekend. What do you think?
I don't know who's competing next weekend. Well, no,
Nathan
we know he's
Diasha.
not going to win because Nathan's going in there,
Yeah,
and
Nathan
Nathan
Diasha
just
is going
beat
to win.
him. Just beat him in the show a couple weeks back.
But I don't think Nathan is going to get better, and I think Nexzilla could get better. And Nexzilla was never next to Nathan, so he can't expose Nathan's weaknesses. So I think Nexzilla can actually win against Nathan. And also Nathan didn't do himself any favors by saying Steve is an asshole, an idiot, by
Yeah.
basically. It's so
Well,
ridiculous.
hopefully,
He says, "Oh, I never win." He won like I always get fourth. He has 12 pro wins. What the hell are you talking about, dude?
yeah, it might have not been the smartest thing, but hopefully, they don't hold it against him because technically, like, even if they don't like what he said, they shouldn't, they should still judge him on his physique, not like, oh,
I think they actually will. I think they actually will. They're going to be cool about it. But
yeah,
I think it was a weak move from Nathan. I could bet that Steve even tried to contact him, and Nathan probably didn't even uh, answer
yeah, Bonek
because
put him
Steve
in his
Steve
place.
really doesn't like that. If you attack him and you don't talk to him personally and just do it online, which I would be the same way. Like, why would you attack me online, but say nothing in person? Like when I'm around all the time, you know? He could have asked him like, what was up? Like, why was I think I was judged unfairly, like, you know? And he's just then 2 days later, and it's not like saying, oh, I think I should have won. He literally said that it was not because of his physique or what they thought, like how they judged him. It was because they don't like him or they don't want him to win. So that's the different thing, right? If you say I saw it different than the judges, or if you say that the judges didn't want him to win because of other things, because they don't like him or
He
something.
was
This
trying to
is
say
like,
it was like a Lee Priest thing,
yeah,
like he was a, kind of they just don't like him
yeah. So
for
I
being
think that's,
outspoken or whatever.
yeah, but he's not outspoken just about himself. That's not being outspoken. If you just
Well,
complain about yourself,
he claims to be.
you know, if you're outspoken, if you criticize the federation for things that like affect everyone or other people, but if you just like complain about yourself, that's not that outspoken. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's just whining.
Yeah. I mean, I get it if you really feel that way, I get it, but I don't know. Like this is kind of, yeah, because no one else kind of saw it like that. It was not like the whole internet was like, yeah, he's right. It's like no one said that. No one had him first.
Yeah, the other thing is, I don't think Steve has any vested interest in one guy winning over another.
No, he
Like,
doesn't.
I don't think he cares.
No, he doesn't care.
He doesn't get anything for it. Like,
He really doesn't care. Dude, Steve cares way more about his reputation than anything else. He
right.
wouldn't do that to his reputation. He's aware of the situation he's in and that he's looked at all the time, and he would it would he know he's not dumb. He knows it's the stupidest thing to do because it was hurt himself so much more in the long run. Just getting someone like it makes no sense.
Yeah.
This guy is not dumb.
Well, back in the day, you had people in the judging panel that were like there because a promoter put him there, and it was a promoter's friend, and there was real politics going on.
Oh,
I
sure,
don't
yeah.
I don't think it's really like that at most of these shows now. You just
No.
got Steve and his crew, um, and I don't think anybody has any attachment to any specific bodybuilders that matter.
Definitely not in the highest ranks of judging. Like the Olympia judges, they all are good. Like some local IFBB judges,
Oh yeah, well that's a
you know,
totally different thing.
but the top judges, bro, like, come on, that's ridiculous. I mean, they give people all the time, like, let people win that are probably not even going to get to the Olympia. How stupid is that? If it's all about money and all about, how clever is it to have some Iranian guy qualify who hasn't like been able to come for 3 years straight? Like, where's the benefit? You tell me. I don't know. Let someone else win who's he's definitely gonna bring more crowd. The Iranians are not gonna fly out to see him because no one's allowed to. So there's like Nathan the Esha would bring more people.
Some guy said he took one bottle of DHB and loved it. Okay, I loved it too for 6 weeks until all hell broke loose. So you didn't say how long you took it for, what dosage you took it for, anything. So that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
One bottle at 100 milligrams per cc. So that's 1,000 milligrams. So what did you take it for, and how much? You're not telling us anything.
Yeah. We know that a bottle is a vial.
Yeah.
So but the thing is, like, how old is that guy, and like, what did he eat, and it's everything's individual, but it seems to be way more likely to run into bad side effects with this drug than others. And I think the liver toxicity and the organ toxicity is like, throughout whoever takes it, it's not going to be good. Like, if you feel like shit, that's going to be even worse. But yeah,
So
we
it's 10
know that a
cc's
bottle
and
is
it's
10
100
cc's.
milligrams per milliliter. So how many milligrams did you take, Jeff, per week?
Yeah, he could have been like 6 weeks on 150.
Yeah,
Then he's
he
so
hasn't.
that would be 900.
He
He could have
hasn't said.
done like, yeah, but that was enough. Like, he took probably as much as you took because you stopped at 900. You did 6 weeks with 150. But I mean, I took way more and it didn't affect me that way. But I told you, like, the bad effects were the bad effects that you had too. I just didn't have like joint pain or anything or whole body pain, but I'm a different person. And you say, like, you also know a lot of people that had that side effect. So it's yeah, like the risk to benefit profile is totally not worth it to me. That's why I haven't taken it. Because I'm like, well, if I think it's stronger than whatever another drug, then a milder drug like Primo or Masteron, I could double that, because like some people, they're always so, oh, milligrams. But like, there's some drugs that are so mild you can take double and you will have less side effects and maybe even more effect. Like, it's not that simple that you just have to compare drugs to another drug from milligram to milligram, you know. So yeah, you always have to look at the risk reward ratio. I mean, everyone can try it if they want, but you know what you're going to run into and how you have to, set yourself up to possibly have the least side effects you could. So, up whatever anti-inflammatory foods you can have, like double the fish oil, double the
Man,
blueberry seed eating.
I do all that stuff already, and it didn't make
Yeah,
any difference. It's stuff
yeah,
messed me up bad.
yeah.
So
Yeah, you also have Crohn's, so that's also on top. So,
mhm.
if you wouldn't have had that, maybe it would have gone like better. Who knows?
Well, I'm sure when I was younger, I could take higher dosages and more toxic shit and deal with it, but not
Yeah,
anymore. But
yeah.
still,
And it also it depends on your goals. Why would you need to take DHB? It's the same with Tren. If you don't
again,
compete, why the hell
my
would you
only
take Tren?
reason for taking it was because on
Yeah,
this message board,
yeah, yeah. I know, I know.
everybody was saying it increases your insulin sensitivity and that it's so anabolic. And they said there was no side effects until I brought up the side effects. And then everybody's like, oh, yeah, we all got that.
Yeah, you know what? Like, you could read studies on testosterone, and then you'll see that it increases insulin sensitivity. So maybe they read a study on dihydroboldenone, and it increased insulin sensitivity to a degree for people that were on nothing before. And it's like, well, is it any better than testosterone? No. It's the
Well,
same with the YK11 stuff.
Some of this stuff that the people are putting out is just straight bullshit.
Yeah.
It's just straight bullshit. They just make shit up.
Maybe it's also because they have a shit ton at home and they create 15 accounts and then they're like, they want to sell it on those boards. Who knows? Could be
Maybe.
anything.
I don't know. When I first got interested in it, I had my guys make it. They didn't even carry it, but I had them make it.
Mm.
And they made it right because, like I said, there was no pip. It was perfectly clear. I still got 15 brand new bottles I'm never going to touch.
Yeah. Well, let's get into Portugal. So you think Nathan is going to get the win, I guess?
Just based on that, he just beat
Yeah.
he just beat Nexzilla like what 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
the
mean,
most
I'd
likely
say
outcome. Yes.
he's probably the favorite going into it, unless he's like way off and somehow Nexzilla comes in like way better. But
Mm.
also, Nexzilla's already qualified for the Olympia now.
That's true. We also have one more guy. We have this Bruno Santos. He could. I don't think he can compete with those guys.
I don't see.
He might be third. He could be third.
We just saw him compete at the Cal, and I don't see him beating those guys.
And I like this. I think he's from Czech. Joseph Kviton or Kviton or something. He looks pretty good all the time. He never got the very best placings. Probably like plus, yeah, like he could have probably done like 1 or 2 placings better at almost every show, but he was always in the front, like in the top 6. I think that guy looks really good too. So he could be third too. Like I think his physique is better than Bruno, and he's like shredded to the bone, to the bone. So yeah, so I think that guy could do well. So if I would be betting, I would say probably, I would still say Nexzilla because when he stands next to Nathan, Nathan's gonna look bad. I don't know. I say Nexzilla wins Nathan and then Creighton and then Santos. That's what I would say. 5th place is some name I've never heard.
I don't know. I just feel like I think Nathan is big enough, and he has a better structure than Nexzilla. Well, actually, why do I keep calling him Nexzilla? It should be Rubio Mascara or whatever his name is.
Mascara, yeah, Rubio Mascara.
But he just has a better structure and shape, and probably better conditioning. So I think Nathan will beat him based on that.
Yeah, I think Nathan should crunch in his front double. Like his torso, like someone said, what did they say? Hot dog torso. I had to laugh about it.
Yeah, it's a long
his torso
torso.
looks bad. He can't stretch it. He should crunch it, and he has good abs. He should crunch it, pose it like I told him. It was just a comment. He probably didn't read it, but if he would pose it like Sean Roden, if you can put up a picture of a front double of Sean Roden, that's how Nathan should hit the front double, and he would look so good. But he doesn't do it. This is like no-brainer for me.
Try to do a vacuum.
No vacuum.
I'm saying instead of trying to do a vacuum.
Yeah, the vacuum looks horrible. No.
I think Nexzilla will be interesting to see at the Olympia, even though he's probably going to place like out of the top 10. But just to see the freaky size of him up there, compared to the other guys.
Oh, I like to see him next to Samson. Wait, his last name is Mosquera. So if they do it in numeric
Jeff,
order,
you can private message me.
if they do it in numeric order, what would that be? Mosquera. Who else is with M? Who else is close? I don't know. Samson Dauda, Derek Luntz. Derek could stand pretty close to him in numeric order comparisons.
What I would like to see a comparison just for shits and giggles. I know it's not a good comparison, but just for size comparison, it was Nick Walker next to him.
Yeah, Walker's far at the end. but maybe they will stand next to each other somehow.
I'm saying if
Um,
just to see the size
yeah. I
difference,
know. I'm just
you know,
also trying to think if it's likely or not. Yeah,
probably not based on the last names, but if they happen to
yeah,
be standing next to each other, it would be interesting to see like how big he looks next to Nick Walker.
yeah.
I'm curious to see how Nick is going to look standing next to Samson. And we know we're going to see that comparison
Yeah,
because Nick is bigger now.
but
Samson's bigger too, I think.
Samson's legs will look way much bigger from the front than Nick's. Nick's are great from the back and the side, but from the front, this structure is gonna like really look bad next to Nick. Like Nick has looked bad next to him. But yeah, it remains to be seen if Samson gets in shape. If he gets in shape, I think like he is like Derek beat him because Samson was a little off. If Samson would be really on,
But that
I
was
don't think Derek
Samson.
would beat
That
him.
Samson was as on as he has ever been. He just never gets to that conditioning, and
Yeah,
Nick
but
does.
at the Arnold's he was worse than the Olympia. But I think
Not by
yeah,
much though. We've never seen
yeah, not
Samson totally peeled.
that's true. I agree. I agree. So Derek has to replicate definitely because Hottie is going to be in. And but maybe Hottie can't get in. Then we have like a totally different Olympia because Hottie is the one that is like he's set for top three. If he's there, he's going to be top three. It's kind of like he will be, like 100%, because he won't mess up. He's always in shape, so he's like one to third.
Mhm.
But if he's not there, then it's kind of like a total gamble because the other guys are not as consistent. So we don't know. We know Nick is pretty consistent. We know Derek isn't, and Samson isn't, and Martin hasn't been, and Andrew Jack has never been. So we have like all these guys that are a total gamble. That's fun. It's going to be very fun
That's
because we
why
have no idea what's going to
I
happen.
think Nick has a legitimate chance just based on that.
Yeah, if they mess up and Hadi doesn't come, because Hadi is the one that will beat Nick, 100%. But if he doesn't come, then Nick could go up to first if the others mess up, which they all
Mhm.
have before. It has to be his lucky day that all of them, but it could be. Who knows?
And Nick never comes in off.
Yeah, like
We
95% at least. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, at the New York Pro, he was just ended, so that would be off.
yeah. Mayor Pro wasn't that great,
Yeah.
even though he said it was his best. I'm like, bro,
No, he
no.
said no, not the recent one, the one from a year ago.
No, the recent one too. I think he wasn't that good. I saw it in person. I think he
Oh,
was way better the week before, where I also saw him in person. So,
but
but yeah,
he wasn't bad like the year before when he
no,
went against
Do you know
Martin.
what? No, I looked at the comparisons. They had comparison videos from 25 to 24. He did like actually his app and thigh was way better in 24. I thought he improved it. He didn't. But his yeah, he was better. He was a little bigger, but he was not in better condition than in 24.
No, but he didn't have the
No.
distended stomach that he had in 24. Not
Yeah,
as bad.
he was better at controlling it. Yeah,
Yeah, he was better controlling it.
that's
Actually, I
right.
shouldn't say that. He did have it in the transitions. He just didn't have it when he hit his
Yeah,
poses.
yeah. In
But I think
Pittsburgh, he barely let it hang out, like, but a little bit sometimes, and then it's like, ah, yeah,
right. But in 24 it was obvious.
yeah.
So I
But
think he did look better in 25. I think he looked bigger for sure.
the
And
one thing that Nick has to do is keep his hair. Like, you can tell me my mustache looks bad, but him bald, like, that looks way worse than anyone could find my mustache bad. Him bald is like, bro, no, don't, not good. He looks like a huge baby. He has like no hair anywhere. Like if you're bald and like have some facial hair, it's like it looks so I don't know, or you have to have like really crazy like jaw lines and something that gives you profile in your face. You know what I mean?
right.
Because if you have nothing going on in your face, no profile, no nothing, no hair, no mustache, no beard, no jawline, no cheeks, nothing. It's like nah. So I think he should keep his hair. And he has hair. Like, come on, bro. All the other guys wish to have hair.
I don't know why he shaved it.
Yeah, I don't know. I know why. As competitors, sometimes, and I like a lot of people have that. Urs had it last year. They feel like they need to change something, and then you also think of changing something of your appearance. I dyed my hair blonde twice, and that was the reason. Once as a cyclist and once as a bodybuilder. And it was like I felt I changed, but I also felt I needed to change even more to stand out. I don't know. Sometimes you like women have that all the time, but I think that's kind of the thinking behind it.
I think it was like mid 2000s. I was pretty big at that point, like maybe like 2000. I don't know, 5, 6, 7, somewhere around there. I went to a new hairstylist, and she made me blonde, like it wasn't supposed to be.
Oh,
Like it
okay.
was almost like white blonde.
Hmm.
And when she finished, I looked at my hair. I was like, "Oh, what the fuck did you do?" She
Hmm.
made me like white blonde, and I remember I still have pictures from then, and I was like, "What?" It looked horrible. I was like,
Yeah.
"No, that's just not me."
And then you just dyed black over it, or like brown or something.
I just waited for it to grow out and went back to dark. But
Because you can easily put like dark color on it and it's dark right away.
well, I don't know. She did it, and it was like I don't know what she did, but somehow when I got done, that was that, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" And I lived with it for a little while,
Yeah,
but I did not
that's
like
fun.
it, and it didn't. It just didn't. It looked fake. It looked like yeah, it looked almost like white blonde. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had platinum blonde, like almost
Yeah, it was
whitish.
like that.
Yeah.
For me, it did not work.
I can never do it again because this crazy lefty Kyle, uh, what's his name? Lewinsky, Kyle Tashinsky. I forgot the last name. Some political commentator who I think is horrible. He has like platinum blonde hair, and it makes him look even more stupid though, which is the good part. But yeah, like I always have to think of him now when I see that. So that's one more reason I can never do it again.
I do wonder if like the bald though makes you look, I don't know, somehow harder.
No, no, I wouldn't
Probably
do it.
not. Probably doesn't make a
Uh,
difference.
Thank God I have good hair genetics. I'm not gonna have to do it anyways. So
I think if you're someone that's like already losing your hair, I could see going that way, but he has a full head of hair, so I just don't see the reason why he would do that. But like you said, maybe he just wants to change things.
yeah,
Well, I think we've pretty much covered what we set out to do.
yes, sir.
Someone made a comment on Proviron saying it doesn't do anything, or they don't like it or something. And I also saw um,
Dave made a
Dave
video
made a
on it.
thing on Proviron saying it's useless. I will say that Proviron was actually designed as an ED drug, and
Yeah,
it
it's
actually
straight
does.
DHT,
Yeah, and it actually does work for
but
that.
it doesn't put on muscle. Yeah, so
No, it's a weak anabolic, but it does work for erectile dysfunction. So it does have a purpose. It wasn't
yeah,
designed to build muscle. But I also think it can give you a little bit of hardness before a show because of the DHT. It can make a little bit of harder look. So I don't think it's worthless. I do think
yeah,
and supposedly it lowers SBGH, which if that's a problem, maybe But you could also do that with boron and Winstrol. But if you don't want to take Winstrol, boron will actually do that at like 12 milligrams.
everything does it. EQ does it, Primo does it, Mastron does it. So unless you're on testosterone only, then you might need to do it. Or if you're on a nandrolone cycle, then you might do it. But usually you're probably on some anabolic that has your SHBD like very low anyways already.
Well,
But
Proviron says
yeah,
they cost more than. I'm saying I wouldn't use it as anabolic for building size, but if you
no,
have a ED, erectile dysfunction, it can definitely work for that. It helps.
yeah,
I know because I had a guy did a cycle of it was just Anavar. It was first cycle, and when he went off, he was in Thailand. He just happened to be in Thailand on vacation. And he went off the Anavar when he went on vacation, and he was having problems. And I told him, go to the pharmacy there and just buy some Proviron. And he did, and that fixed his problem, like literally right then and there.
yeah,
So it's good for that purpose. Also, like right before a contest, if you're using it like 30 days before a show, the cost is not that much to make a difference. So, I mean, you're only going to use like 20 milligrams a day. So I think for that, right before a show for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, it could be beneficial.
yeah. It's common practice. So, yeah. All right, Larry, I gotta go.
All right.
You can keep going if you want
No,
to.
I'm good.
Okay.
I think I covered everything that we needed to. If you guys have any other questions, leave them in the comments. We'll try to address them next week.
Or reach out on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can catch us both on Instagram. Our Instagram links are in the description. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell us what you think.
All right.
And
thank you,
everybody
Larry.
have a happy 4th of July weekend.
Yes.
Stay safe.
America. Bye-bye.
I believe